You're live. Okay. Now let's go to Facebook. You want me to introduce you as you come in? Oh, wait. Hold on. We're live on the other channel. People can hear.
Make sure everything's right.
Okay, we are live. We're live on there, on YouTube, and we are going live on Facebook. Share the groups. We're not going to do that right now. Okay, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Man, we're getting really technological around here. We're high tech. All right, so you ready for our introduction and our opening? Okay.
I get my COVID mask on here. Got your beer right in the middle of the camera shot.
Beers are good in the cameras. Okay, I think we're about organized. I should have got here earlier.
Well, you know.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real America Rants and Raves, where we're ranting and raving. I'm your host, Big Papa Love, and our other host, Wickenstein. Wickenstein is a new member to the family here, and forget about it. It's supposed to be showing up, but there's been some contractual heartbreak through the process of bringing on Wickenstein. So we're working on getting those technicalities worked out. We have a lot to cover tonight. As we all know, the disaster taking place right now across our country with the whole presidential election. And let me know if you can or cannot hear me. You guys should be able to hear me pretty good, I think, since we got some new cameras or some microphones. And next week we'll be using the new camera. We just didn't have time to set it up to make sure it works. And what's up, Frank Sawinski? How you doing, buddy? So that's where we're at. We got a lot to cover tonight in our short 2 hours. So I welcome all your comments. Please try to keep it a little bit clean. So Big Papa Love doesn't get all fired up, because you guys know I get all fired up, and next thing you know, I'm on a tirade. So let's try to keep it cool. I can hear you.
I can hear you.
All right. So someone's saying hi to Wickenstein, and so anyway, so while we're waiting, we'll see if Forget About It shows up or not. He's supposedly running late.
Forget about it.
But we don't know if he's going to show up or not. So Wickenstein, why don't you get started? I know last week, guys, we had a total debacle as normal, which has become normal. We just, we can do videos. We can do videos when they're pre-recorded, but when it comes to going live,
I'd say we went sideways last week.
we went a little sideways. We got the bookie calling. Excuse me. We have to call the bookie tonight at 9:00 for your Sunday night picks. So we got a lot planned, a lot going on, and we just love you guys. We love doing this, and we love having fun. So our goal is to entertain you guys and also give you a little bit of knowledge and information pertaining to numerous things going on across this country. As we all know, I am the all-knowing wizard, Big Papa Love. So with that being said, this is Wickenstein. Wickenstein had a very good breakthrough last week, his first episode. The debut. Thank you. You got to help me out with the words once in a while. I'm not real good with big words.
As long as I don't have to spell them, we'll be fine.
I've never been good with big words or even words.
That was a 2-syllable, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. It sounds like it. But so he came on last week. It was great to have him here. A lot of people loved him, and some people hated him. And either way, you know what? It is what it is. That's what we're here to do. What's up, Fermain? How you doing, buddy? So let's hear your comments and thoughts here. Whatever topics you want to discuss tonight, I'll be going on about the election and the fraud that's taking place with that. It's major fraud. It's not looking good for us trumpeters, but I'm not giving in or giving up faith or hope on the situation because I do believe Trump will be victorious. And I've eaten my words before, and I may eat them again, but that's my position.
Coup d'etat. Is that what's going to happen here?
That sounds like a really, really big word. Hey, listen, I'm ready to, and I'm going to get into my thoughts on this comment, on this situation later, because I'm really fired up about it. Matter of fact, I was so sick over it. Now, you know what? I have never, ever once deleted somebody on Facebook over a difference of opinion. I've never unfollowed anybody on Facebook for a difference of opinion. But this week, I've been very quiet on Facebook, and all those Trumpeteer haters, if I didn't personally know them, they were deleted. And if I didn't, and if I do know them, they were unfollowed, so I don't see their crap. Like, that's how upset I am over what's taking place right now in our country. And again, once a few of these cocktails kick in, and that reminds me, I wasn't able to afford to bring any Crown Royal this week because I spent it all on these damn microphones. It's about an $800 freaking expense for this damn show. So you guys better like it and make some comments out there, for God's sake.
As long as it sounds good to the audience, that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. So
at least we can do the weather.
We can do the weather. Yeah, it is very beautiful today.
It's an absolute beautiful day. One of the best days I think I've had all year.
Absolutely.
It was wonderful. Hopefully some people get outdoors today.
So let's talk about Wittgenstein a little bit. Let's catch up where we were at last week. Who's Wittgenstein? And what is Wittgenstein up to? And that's your take. I'm handing the mic to you, sir.
Well, Wittgenstein's live, and we're shooting live, and we're hoping to do some more sitcoms and stuff along the lines of this. But I like the Don's Rants and Raves, and it's a lot of fun to get fired up. Right now, my head's kind of spinning with the election a little bit, like everybody's. You don't really know. You're in a complete state of anticipation and or just absolute disgust. I think a lot of people are disgusted in many approaches, no matter which side of the coin you're on. I think there's just disgust. People are pissed.
I mean, so you're going right to that just so you can get me fired up in the first 6 minutes of the show, aren't you? Because you guys got to understand something. Wittgenstein is like a philosopher, and he's a very intelligent man, and he loves to get me fired up. So kind of like Forget About It. But Forget About It usually loses when he gets me fired up, and he ends up storming off the stage. And he gets all bent out of shape. But
Forget About It shows up.
Yeah, Forget About It better show up. So, but see, somebody texted in saying, hey, guys, time for national standards when it comes to the presidential elections. And that's another thing that's very true is the fact that we all know that COVID was used as an excuse to use mail-in ballots. The Republican parties, the woke people continuously spoke of that, saying this is bad, it's going to lead to fraud. And what we're seeing in Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, the same states that the governors
it wasn't the hanging Chad this time like it was, 20 years ago.
No, this is bad. I mean, they just arrested. As a matter of fact, I just got a text earlier from one of my news feeds where they just arrested a postal worker going to Canada with thousands of ballots. It
seems a little bit staged to me. Don't you think that's a little bit staged for media?
How'd they manage to catch him? You know what I mean? Was he nervous?
Hey, what do you got in your car? I got 1,000 ballots, man. Let me across the border.
Right. I do agree with that, too. I find that to be very
And you just happened to be
entertaining.
A camera crew there or something, to catch it?
I don't know if there was a camera crew there, but I'm sure they brought one in after the fact. Sure but there's so much stuff. Now, I did watch a live video where they pulled out tons, and I don't know tons, but they pulled out a ton of ballots out of a dumpster, and they were going through them. It was all Trump, and I'm not sure where that one was at. I mean, that's happening. It's happening everywhere. It's one of those 5 states. Michigan's really a disaster. Georgia, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare it is going on out there.
At least a bunch of people with the COVID got out and voted. I mean, at the end of the day.
Well, this is true. Oh shit. Well, that's the funny thing too. So we have a candidate, Joe Biden, right? He allegedly surpasses the number. He's the most voted for president in American history. The guy barely campaigned. He hid in his basement. And
we need to use that strategy with the show.
Right.
Think how many guests we'll
have. Well, we have a lot of people that want to come on the show. So we just need to, we got stuff going on here.
Uh-oh.
We're going back and forth between Facebook and YouTube. I'm trying this to see how this works.
We have 2 live feeds.
Yeah, we have 2 live feeds going on right now. So we have the Apprentice of Honor saying good evening. We can hear you. Okay, thank you very much. Is it clear? Apprentice of Honor, is the microphone clear or does it sound clear? And you guys got to get the word out. Let everybody know that we're on. I know I did not send this feed out to nobody. I literally just set it up, and I don't even think I had put it. Well, I think I put a title to it, but that's about all we did. So, but what's your thoughts on the whole presidential election? Come on, guys. I know you're out there. I know you got opinions.
Good.
Yeah, we're starting off kind of quiet tonight.
My opinion is really, and I'll throw it right out there. Term limits would eliminate one of the candidates. You can't run this long. You can't be in politics this long. I have a super issue with that. Overall, I have an issue with it.
There's no reason that
I don't think that people should be stuck in Congress or any position like that for a lifetime. It's a little complicated. You do 4 years, you're out for 4 years. You do 6 years, you're out for 6 years. You can keep moving through the system. You could be a congressperson and then a senator and then president and stay in for that long run of a. But
because you're switching positions,
right,
absolutely.
Because you're switching positions. You can't have people just sitting in one position forever in a decade, not a decade, 4 decades. I mean, good that you have no sense of reality at that point.
So and that brings up a good point too. And this is what Trump talks about, and what I've talked about before Trump ever even came on the scene. When forget about, and I used to do this years ago. We have a system where they continuously move players around. Okay, Hillary Clinton's going to be Congress. Hillary Clinton's going to be Senate. Hillary Clinton's going to be Secretary of State. Hillary Clinton's going to be this. And all they do is move these people into different positions. And it's the biggest fraud that you could ever. I mean, we all know what a fraud it is. Let's see. How can a guy that can't attract 25 people to a rally, even with the help of Bon Jovi, get that number of people to vote for him? Seems kind of suspect to me. You know what, Ms. Thomas? I couldn't agree with you more. It's the biggest sham. I mean, look at Kamala. Kamala had to come to Cleveland, and she went and stood in line because they knew people were voting. So the voting line was, half a mile long or whatever. And she's out there walking up and down with the microphone.
Not campaigning,
but acting like they're there for her. You know what I mean? And thank God Ohio crushed it when it came to the
the reality
voting.
Is 50% of people don't agree with 50% of the people is about what's going on at the end of the day.
Yeah, but
that's what it looks like on many levels.
I read the stats earlier. Trump he's raised the bar on minority support with people voting for him, from the Hispanics to the Africans to the Mexican, same thing, I guess. But like the numbers are so high. But meanwhile, Biden still gets 70 million votes. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Forget about it. 70 million votes. He blew Obama out of the water. He blew Trump out of the water. He's blown everybody out of the water, and the guy barely campaigned. I mean, you're going to tell me that many people truly hate Trump that much? Come on, I don't think so. I mean, I know there's a lot of hateful people out there, and those are the people I'm getting rid of. But let's see, term limits and eliminating career politicians is very important. We have to. I
Term
personally.
Limits, I think that's the goal that I want to be engaged in over the next 2 years, is establishing term limits. So the next people that get elected into Congress in 2022, that when that vote comes along,
right,
people are coming in with the known fact that there's a term limit. this Alexandria, whatever her name is,
Cortez.
blah, blah, shmoo, shmoo, she's setting up a career and that shouldn't be. I mean, listen, you don't need anyone in there that long. You should be able to go in, do your 4 years, get some health insurance out of it, free health insurance. You become political public figure like that, you should get a long-term reward, but you can't stay in a position forever.
No, you can't. And that leads me to another topic. So as we all know, or most of you know, or some of you know, I put my hat into the ring for Congress. And as I told you guys a couple weeks ago, fortunately, I didn't fill out the correct paperwork, so I was unable to actually be a candidate as a write-in thing. And I believe it or not, I had a lot of people texting me the day of the election saying, "Your name's not on the ballot. I'm here voting, and I can't write you in anywhere." It was just a trial run. And
so you plan on running in 2022?
I plan on getting started early in 21 and actually doing it the correct way, running as an independent or.
Independent's a wonderful name.
Is an independent.
A two-party system's the other failure in this system. Two-party system is a failure.
It's a total failure.
It's a complete flop.
Again,
it's a flop.
I've said that before, and I agree with you, Mr. Wittgenstein.
I mean, I don't care whether you're red or blue or left or right or whatever you want to call it. There shouldn't be that simple of a division. It shouldn't be that easily divided.
No,
it should be split up much more. That's something that needs to change. And the only way to do that is to control the financing for campaigning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
The only way that
South
you're really going
Carolina.
to be able to control it is you have to control the amount of money that's available for funding. And, obviously the issue is we allow so much money in there. And if you watch any form of mainstream media, most of the ads you see run on there aren't even out of the campaign. It's out of someone else's budget that's campaigning for someone. So how do you control that?
Well, I mean, let's think about that for a second. The guy running against Graham in South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, they spent $100 million to fill a position that makes $180,000 or whatever it is. And
it's all about the vote.
It's how it doesn't make any sense. It just tells you how control our government people are. Those that buy them control them. Think about that. If I'm picking you, like my job tells me what to do. Don, we're giving you a paycheck. This is the way you're going to do it. We don't care if you like it or you don't like it. Okay, great. Yeah, you're right. If I don't like it, I quit. I go somewhere else, right?
If you don't like it, you don't.
In our system, it is the more people pay you. You know what? And that brings me to another good point. Last night, I was on Pool League. And I was on Pool League. Did you win? No, I got my ass kicked again. I lost, my pool record. I used to play pool for like money and I was really good, or okay, anyways. I would win some big money.
We're gonna have to shoot again.
Listen, we can do that. And I think I'm 2-4 on the season right now. I mean, I'm just getting my butt handed to me. It's been horrible. Yeah, someone texted, "God, you are fat." Hey, listen here, Slim. You ain't no freaking supermodel there, big boy. And then somebody else says, "Can Big Mike kick your ass?" Big Mike is too big to kick my ass because he freaking falls down drunk too much. So that goes to both of you guys, Big Joe and freaking Dave. What's the phone number? Phone number is 2. Okay, yeah. Guys, if you want to reach the show by call, by text, chat, or calls, we got better sound so we can hear you. People can hear you better now. 216-333-9593. Again, 216-333-9593. Let's hear your thoughts on the. I mean, come on. I know we're all feeling very emotional right now. I mean, I pretty much shut Facebook down. I made one comment this week, and I left it alone because I'm that upset about what I'm watching going on.
Shelf and went for a 20-mile bike ride and watched leaves fall from the sky. Tried not to hit too many trees that were jumping out in front of me. I was much more relaxed. I felt much better by the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you just got to get away from this circus.
Absolutely. See, some people are texting they like YouTube better.
What's the difference?
The difference is actually the quality. I was just reading about this. The quality of the camera is better on YouTube. Yeah, and you can do more stuff on YouTube than you can on Facebook. We can't share music.
I personally would rather use YouTube than Facebook. I've never been on Facebook.
Never been. You're not missing much. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Most of the posts you just skip
I mean, I
on by.
can't say that I haven't seen a Facebook page, but I do not have a Facebook.
Somebody's saying no answer. All right, let me restart the phone and let's see. And I never did buy a new phone yet for this particular thing. Someone said,
it's possible he might have made it and just didn't get it.
this says, I see Waldo is back. We want Louis.
Forget about Louis. Forgot about showing up.
Yeah, forget about it. Forgot about showing up. That son of a bitch. And then let's see. Is Biden on the sex offenders list lifetime? You know what? Biden should be on the sex offenders list. And I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to what's going on, but they're ramping up some stuff in Ukraine on charges against Biden himself. And that's the other funny thing. All of a sudden, the Hunter Biden story is very quiet. Rumor has it he's been ushered away by the FBI. He's being held in a military hospital in Washington because of his addiction problems, and he's basically under hospital arrest, house arrest. Yeah. So
I didn't hear about that.
Somebody said, "I'm glad the grandfather from the Transformers is joining." Hey, Shane, when are you going to come down and be a special guest here? We're waiting on you, buddy. Nadine, do not call. And why is your name even showing up in the live feed? You're supposed to be under a fake name. What's with Waldo's scarf?
That's my COVID mask, Hammerhead. Listen, you got to wear one of these to buy anything. I can't get beer without one.
He calls you Waldo. Oh my God, that's too funny.
Mask if I'm not paying attention, that's why I wear it.
All right, let's see. What is this one? Let's see. Ms. Thomas, some good parts of the election are that the House is likely picking up more seats, and the Senate should stay majority Republican. This will affect what Biden will be able to do and who will be approved for his cabinet if he does not become president. Very good points. We technically control the Supreme Court now as far as the Republican side goes, which is kind of scary because John Roberts isn't someone that we can trust. He's proven himself over and over again with Obamacare that he's not someone to be trusted. He was also on the Epstein flight logs, which is another scary thought because that means he was being controlled before.
Subscribe to that though.
That
whole Washington D.C. district of New York City combat. There's a whole pile of them. Floridians. They're all up to no good on that one.
Oh,
for real.
I agree 100%.
I don't approve of any of that.
And I think, honestly, I don't think they even killed Epstein or he committed suicide. I think they ushered him away somewhere. And,
well, it's possible.
Somebody texted in, the steal is in, the election is being stolen by 4 big Democratic cities with voter fraud. Well, it definitely appears that way. And most people seem to think that we are going to lose, but I'm going to keep holding my faith that Trump's going to prevail as he should. So going back to, John Roberts, as far as controlling the Senate, we've also seen that the Senate, for the most part, they don't have the backbone that Trump has. They don't stand up. They don't fight.
They don't really legislate.
They don't do much
I'm not
of anything.
sure what exactly
they really don't. I mean, they stopped the expunge or the.
I really don't understand why they can't do more results. I think they're already campaigning for their next re-election instead of getting something done. Is one of the problems. And the problem with not having term limits is you don't have any way to hold them accountable. I mean, we don't hold any legislators accountable.
No, we don't. And that's part of the problem.
It takes years to put policies in place, and it takes years to understand what the effects of those are, besides maybe a tax cut or something that's a real immediate thing. But real policy, real legislation takes time to see the effects of it. And you shouldn't be able to get reelected until I see the results of what you did. That's why term limits to me would change everything completely. Flat tax, term limits. Let's do some basics here.
Hey, Shay Nickerson, we see you here, honey. I agree with you, Wittgenstein. We see you. We're running 2 platforms tonight. We're running YouTube and Facebook. I've never done this. I know you could do this. The only reason I'm trying Facebook is because I just want to try something different. We did it last week, even though it was a complete debacle. But we do see your comments. I'm going back and forth from the two feeds. So I appreciate your comments. And she said both sides are the problem. And I think that myself, Wittgenstein, and if Forget About It ever comes back on, he would agree. It was part of my actually campaigning videos where I spoke of the fact that we keep allowing we keep allowing them to dictate to us who's going to represent us.
As long as there is division, we need politicians. That's what
right.
it is.
Well,
that's the truth.
That is the truth.
So as long as you're arguing, then you have to pick a side, and then they have a guaranteed position job. And it's kind of foolishness. They're not really accomplishing anything. I mean, if you become a politician, what are you going to do? You're going to put a bridge in, or you're going to put a library in? What's your go-to here? Because they all want a bridge or a library in their hometown or something. Right. You know what I mean? And that's a bunch of shenanigans too.
It is. I agree with you.
I mean, just legislate. And don't write it so complicated that anybody can do it. How do you have an 800-page bill? We're either doing this or we're not doing it. You should be able to vote on it. I mean, we're sitting home. We could all vote on it.
In sports entertainment.
What is this? What is this?
What is this?
It just popped up on the phone. It just popped up on the phone, man. This is getting weird.
You got some. You got a tough feed right there.
This is a dedication to Kamala Harris.
Your future president.
I'll tell you what.
Old Sleepy Joe's not going to wake up one night.
No, he's not going to wake up. And you know what the funny thing is? And I'm going to talk about that too real quick. But we got to listen to the tribute to Kamala Harris. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Hawaiian theme song?
There was a wrestler called Kamala.
Oh, okay.
And that was his music.
Got it.
He was like this.
I'm a little outdated on some of this stuff. Being the grandfather of the Transformers.
Hey, you gotta take some of these with salt with a grain of salt. They're actually not being too ruthless on you tonight, man. You're not supposed to laugh at your host. What is that?
I am definitely gonna laugh at
that strange man is on. Look at about to send you on house arrest for food addiction, Mr. Whatever. All right, so what were we saying? Let's see. Oh my gosh, these guys are
warm in here.
Feels good in here.
Low Rappanui's right up to temperature tonight.
Oh, you know what? That was going to be my question. I was wondering if Omar got reelected because I haven't been able to watch the news or anything because it just makes me sick. But somebody just texted and said that Omar, the squad, the AOC squad, they all got reelected. Now that tells you enough right there. I mean, who the hell would vote for those people? Why would you want them representing you? I mean, that's in itself is just disgusting. Omar's been under investigation for all sorts of different things, and they'll never do nothing about it. You know what I mean? But if, for God's sakes, you smoke some weed on a video, the cops are kicking your door down.
Every
what
time
I mean?
I was smoking weed, it seemed like I was getting busted. You remember those days? It was always something. Now it's a treatment. My doctor's like, here, you can't have enough. Take some more. Here, take it home. Eat a gummy, eat a cookie. Here, you're good to go. I mean, just eat all you want. 20 years ago, they're locking you up for 5 years. It's ridiculousness.
So look,
at least we've made some forward progress here. What I can say is most of the states that have legalized weed do vote on a bluer platform. Right. And that is true. So anybody that really likes weed may like blue a little bit more than they think they do. And that's just the way it is. Oregon went crazy. Did anybody see that news out of Oregon? That was some crazy stuff. You see what they did up there? Speaking of that subject?
No, what did they do in Oregon? They
decriminalized multiple.
Oh gosh, yeah, what a
things.
nightmare!
Did you see that? They decriminalized.
Forget about it. Called me about that the other day.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I think they just all their weed flame, fields just went up in smoke. Anyways, wildfire.
You're gonna decriminalize. Okay, maybe cocaine's not so bad, but like heroin or crack, those types of drugs lead you to theft, murder, rape, rob, pillage. I don't do drugs.
They have.
But is that where it leads to?
There's definitely a long rap sheet of people that are under the influence of those two.
Of those types of drugs,
very poor decisions.
Right. So,
and
what is that doing?
Rampant up there.
So what is that going to do to the people? Like, oh, just another crackhead.
I think they're just trying to lower their budget overall. I'm not really sure I mean, there's Portugal. I think Portugal, right? Portugal pulled this off like 20 years ago. They just said, okay, everything's legal.
But they regulate it though.
No.
I thought they regulated.
Portugal's got some interesting laws going on over there around that subject. So we'll see what Oregon does with it. I was pretty happy to see 4 more states come on board with the marijuana legalization, moving towards recreational. I think that's important personally. It is medicine, everything can be abused. I mean, some people abuse food.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, here we go. Here we freaking go. All right, on to the next topic. All right, let's see. Shay says she worked for Nader back in the 80s.
Oh, really?
And I voted for third party for over 20 years, was a total libtard. What made you change your ways? That's what I'm interested in. Know. How did you go from being a total libtard to being, I know you, a strong conservative Christian? I would like to know the answer to that. So while you're thinking about that, let me know. Somebody just texted the election. Guys, give us a call too. 216-333-9593. Let's see. I'd rather you sit next to Biden than Waldo. This guy's got it out for you, bro.
Perfect. Fantastic.
You have nice nipples. Come on, guys. This guy looks like the guy you put under the pool table. Oh, that was Bones. Oh my God, I forgot all about Bones, man. Play Dude Man is back. You guys are ruthless.
I'm about ready to go into character.
Come on, you guys are gonna make Wittgenstein quit. And Wittgenstein's got a lot of information and knowledge to share.
The more comments you give me, the more I know you're paying attention. I'm fine with that. I'll take it.
You
I have to let my hair down.
Well, Louis got
to be official.
See what happened years ago. That's why Louis stopped doing it, because they would just. I mean, Louis would say some really whacked out stuff, and then but he got so mad because everybody would just attack him, and so that's why he quit doing it. And then I kind of quit doing it, but we're not going to let you guys break us down tonight or next. Oh, by the way, next weekend there will be no show because I'm going out of town for work for I don't know a couple days, I guess, and. So you guys are going to miss me next week, but so going back to somebody asked, hold on, some text about me running. No, I unfortunately was. Yeah, I'm going to be running again, and I'm going to do it the right way. I'm actually going to set myself up as independent candidate. I'm just going to clear this up.
I worked for Ralph Nader.
I'm going to get started in the middle of next year. I'm starting to put together the campaign. I'm not going to wait till the last minute like I did this time, even though I had the idea of starting in January. I should have. I had a lot of positive feedback. I had a lot of people supporting me in this idea. And this actually, we're going to continue doing this and do it the right way. As you see, we're getting equipment. We're going to be putting new cameras in. We're going to be doing a live, a reality show. To get the name out there,
that's for sure.
It'll be reality.
There'll be no question about that.
And
you can't make that,
like
Frank's hot sauce. You can't make that shit up.
Right. So and then Rant Ray with Don Michaels is coming back. I have several interviews lined up, or I'm supposed to be lining them up. I just haven't.
I think forgot about it.
Yeah, I told you, forget about it. You know what? Forget about it. If you're listening, why are you such a sissy ass? Come out of the basement. He's like Joe Biden. He hides in the basement.
I don't know where Joe Biden hides. Behind a mask, I think. This mask thing, it's going to get complicated here for the next few months.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so that's where we are with the political thing. I'm leaving that alone until the middle of next year. I don't have no other statement to make other than that, no other video to make other than that. But I do like doing my little short 1 or 2 minute videos with messages, and I'm going to continue to do that to continue to bring awareness and, to the unwoken people.
To the willfully blind.
To the willfully blind. I don't want to. It's too early for me to get all religious yet, but I do want to say that we had the 70 weeks of Daniel prophesized, and there was going to be 3.5 years of peace, which we've seen under Trump. Because the first 6 months, he had to destroy ISIS and all that. But since then, there's been world peace for the most part. And considering that every president in American history has been at war, with the exception of Donald Trump. But 70 weeks is basically 7 years. And we are, if for some godforsaken reason Trump loses, the second 3.5 years are going to be hell on earth. They're going to tax us to death. You're going to be, as Wittgenstein just mentioned, the mask, that they're going to make that permanent. They're going to force us in their vaccinations, or try to. It's going to get real ugly, ladies and gentlemen. It's
I
going
hope
to
they
get real
don't put
ugly.
the other chip on the chip they already got in me. Though. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope they don't get them confused. It doesn't show
Well,
out. How many chips can you get in you at one time?
I just read something interesting
I feel like I already
tonight.
got a couple of these chips in there.
I just read one tonight where these vaccinations have these like nanobots where they can track you and control you. It's basically like a chip.
If it's important to, most people are just subscribing to it by carrying their phone with them everywhere anyway. So you don't really need to waste money on a nanobot into people right now.
I don't know, but it's none of it's pretty. All right. So next comment. Do you think this is going to turn out to do you think Biden is going to be president, or do you think Trump's definitely going to be reelected because of all this bullshit they kicked off? In all seriousness here, I still have hopes that Trump's going to win. I think in the legal battles, he will win. I think the fraud's being exposed daily. And if it's not, like I just got done saying about Daniel, the 77 years with Daniel, 70 weeks. 7 years, not 70 weeks. It's going to be ugly, but I truly believe that Trump is going to be reelected. Again, I might chew dirt on that, but I'm willing to chew dirt on that because I still have faith and I still have hope. But if not, you know what? Here's what I say to Mr. Trump and any of his FBI people or anybody that's watching.
Buy an island and run like hell.
Well,
head
no.
for Russia and get pardoned.
All it's going to take is for him.
They're going to be up in his business if he doesn't get reelected.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, they're going to screw with him bad. If he doesn't get reelected, I'm telling you right now, to all the FBI, CIA, Secret Service, Deep State, whoever the hell you are, the American people, Mr. President, you just give us the word, and I can assure you 20 million Americans will swarm D.C. like a plague. It will be hell on earth. We will hang them high in the streets for their crimes and their treason against our country, against our people, for their theft, through their taxery, through their usury, all of it. It's time we put America first. It's time that we take our country back. Trump didn't, they fought him the whole entire time of his presidency, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting what they're doing right now. And if you're not mad, if you're not livid, there's something wrong with you, because every single person knows right now what's going on is fraud. So we as a people need to come back. Somebody wants to know where Big Lou is. Big Lou? I don't know. You know what? Let's call Big Lou. Let's give old Big Lou a call. And I don't know, can you guys hear that music in the background? I'm just curious. The election is being stormed right before our eyes. If they get away with this, how can America go forward if votes don't count? No, we're done. We're done if Biden and Kamala get into office. Let's see. Let's call Forget About It. Oh, and we got to call the book at 9. The book will be giving us some information at 9 o'clock on the Sunday bets. Let's give Forget About It a call. I'm sure he's going to have some whiny ass story like he normally does. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So what else you got here? I'm waiting on Shay to tell me why she feels that, or why she used to be a libtard. All right. We're calling forget about it. Find out where he's at.
This is Louis Costello from PSI Painting and Uniform Painting. Please leave me a message.
At the tone, please record your voice message. When you are finished recording, you may hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey, forget about it. It's 8:45, dude. You said you'd be here at 7:45. And, of course, you're probably hiding in your basement. As usual. Where you at, bro? Later. Okay, forget about it. Didn't answer. He's such a sissy. We got another comment here from Mr. Bannister. I hope everyone in Ohio stays calm because, to be honest with you, Ohio supported Trump at the polls. It was absolute landslide. So keep all that trash out of Ohio. Ohio did not support Biden as a whole. You know what, Mr. Bannister? I agree with you on that. And I was a little disappointed. Matter of fact, I've been staying off Facebook since the night of the polls because so many people were posting negative things about Ohio, basically saying, Ohio, I'm so upset with you. Why would you? And I'm like, wait a second, guys. It's not even 5 o'clock yet. What are you talking about? And then by the next morning, Ohio was a landslide for Trump. And I really thought it was going to come down to DeWine because, you know, he's kind of a swamp dweller. I'm not a fan of him at all, but I thought he was going to try to shut us down too and make us go in and do the mail-in ballots like we see in North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona,
Well, you can have an absentee
Michigan.
ballot in Ohio.
No, you can't. No, they sent them out.
Yeah.
They mailed out the ballots. I just threw it in the garbage. I'm like, no, I'm voting in person. But I kept getting worried, like nervous that because DeWine kept coming out every day about the COVID. And I was like, oh, these guys are going to shut it down and we're not going to be able to vote. And they're going to say mail it in.
I mean, they tried.
Then it was going to
they
prolong
tried
the
pretty
election
hard
even
to
more.
shut it down when you only have like one polling place open. You got 20,000 people in a line. I mean, that's ridiculousness again. I mean, that's not COVID safe.
I honestly have never seen so many people participate. I mean, it was insane.
So that's good. One good thing for Americans, they chose to participate.
They
That's a positive. Even if they don't have a clue about what they're voting about, at least they get out and voted. I mean, how many people really know who their city council person is? That's what that's what I really want to know. When you look at your neighborhood and you're get into your smaller geographic area, do people even know who those people are? I don't know. Most people don't know. They don't even know their neighbor.
We're not taking that one. Uh-oh. Nadine, I'm not taking your call. It's one of the kids. You need to go to bed. What time is it? You got 15 minutes yet. You should be watching this anyways. We're not being bad though, so we're okay. We're being good.
I'm not changing my personality.
So, come on, guys. Let's hit me up. What do you got? Wings from all those wings. Come on, guys. Why you got all the fat jokes here? Listen, I've been slimming down a little bit. Can't you tell? Come on. Look at those guns. Man, I'm going the wrong way. Look at those guns. Come on. Oh, that one looks better, I think. I'm down to you know what? Speaking of that, Mr. Shane over here. Oh my gosh, Crazy Caller is calling in. We have not heard from Crazy Caller in weeks. Let's see what he has to say. Welcome to Real America Rants and Raves. What's your rant? What's your rave?
Oh boy, I don't know where to begin. Let's just start with the guy off the left of you. I'm tired of him, Donnie. Want him out of the picture, Donnie.
You're saying that you don't like Wittgenstein?
Well, this Wittgenstein, I got news. Okay, this guy needs to go.
What? Crazy Caller number 1 does not care for you very much.
Sounds like he's chewing on a hot dog. I can't hear what he's saying.
I know, yeah. You sound mumbly, Crazy Caller. We try to get this new fancy equipment, and we still can't hear you. There we go.
He looks like the guy from a Play-Doh pan. Okay? That silly little head of his. He thinks he's a Picasso. I don't know what he thinks he is.
He is a Picasso. It's not a bad thing, though.
We can't all look like you. What do you got? What else you got going on, Crazy Caller number one?
I can't hear you, Donnie. Get the phone that's in there. I can't hear you, Donnie.
Hey, Wittgenstein wants to know what else you have going on. So when he says, "Do you got anything useful to bring to the table, or is he just going to bust his balls?"
Oh, no. We're going to talk about politics, but let's first talk about getting him off the show.
Well, forget about it. Forget about it. Apparently, he ghosted us tonight. All right, later, Crazy Caller. All right, we always get those pranksters calling in. Somebody asked, do we think that Pelosi will be the Speaker of the House?
Unfortunately, probably so, but I hope that that's another position. Here's another position that I have. Here's a Wittgenstein philosophy. Here's one. This whole voting thing, it should be based on popular electoral is a bunch of hocus pocus. We know that whole system's garbage. But if you took the people that were with the most popular votes, so currently right now it would be Biden, then Trump, and then whoever the third person would be, and that third person would be appointed as Speaker of the House. And they got to change that around down there in that clubhouse of non-legislating people, because when you're doing the minority whip and you're doing, and you're doing all these different things, the Speaker of the House should be a neutral party in there. It should not be set up the way it is, and it should be voted in by the American public.
Now that I'll agree with.
That's a
that I
position that
agree
should be voted upon. So you vote for president, vice president, and Speaker of the House. So you don't end up with the debacle that we have going on down there with her, because with all of her witch hunts and all the stuff that she did over the last 4 years and promoting all that, I certainly don't want to listen to that for another 4 years, even if she thinks she knows what she's talking about this time.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you on that statement. I'm very big on the people should elect who's in what and so forth, et cetera. But unfortunately, I disagree with you on the Electoral College, because the Electoral College is extremely important.
That's what they keep telling me, but I'm not sure how.
Well, here's why. I'll explain it to you. Here's why. So California has 30 million people. Ohio has 12 million. You know what I mean? Montana or Idaho only have
900,000.
Right. Okay. So less than 1 million people. So therefore, their opinion, their votes wouldn't even matter when it comes down to, if everybody's in California is all Democratic, it's going to cancel out Idaho, Montana, Maine, Vermont. It's going to cancel out a numerous amount of states because of the volume of people. That's what makes the Electoral College so important. It levels the playing field for each state to have their say in the election. He doesn't look very enthused about that. But that's it in a nutshell.
Like what they tell me all the time. I'm not buying in on that plan 100%.
You're not buying in on it?
No. But that's all right.
Do I think Pelosi will be Speaker of the House? I've heard there's already rumors going around that Pelosi, they're actually going to pull the plug on her and send her packing.
I did hear that.
And they should.
Too.
They should, because Nancy Pelosi, she's beyond her time. She's been around way too long. She's a mess. She's a train wreck. Remember that show I did a couple weeks ago where I deleted it? That was a total train wreck. That's Nancy Pelosi every single day. And I have been noticing other people, like on Facebook, some normal, solid people. Everybody's just been, this has been very hard for everybody. And I'm not talking about just the election. I'm just talking about the whole, just everything, man. The negativity from the media and all the fighting and bickering back and forth with everybody.
The hard part is just trying to go to the bar and drink without talking politics. I mean, good grief. It's out of control. I mean, it's hard to be around people right now. They're so devoted one way or the other. It's just let the vote dudes talking. You're not going to reconvince me,
How does he suggest we do this, Don? Our vote don't I can't even say it. All right, I'm going to take it only because, hold on, we'll go back to that question in just a second. Yes, Nadine. Okay, well, ask me. And then go to bed. Oh, whatever. Good night. Go to bed. It's almost 9 o'clock. Love you. Bye. All right. Now the kids even prank me. She says I got to lose weight. Answer my call. Oh, yeah. Nope. She'll be acting president after. Okay. Somebody disagrees with Pelosi. Says they'll be acting president after January 20th. We won't have a president until February. Guys, this is so bizarre and crazy. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. I really don't. I don't know what to think.
I mean, the possibility Sleepy Joe might not wake up between now and the point that he actually is supposed to take office could happen too. That would change it up a little bit.
The whole
how old is the guy? I mean,
he's 78, I believe.
One tick away from not being. I mean, it's mental sanity. I think is in question here.
His mental sanity for real is in question. The whole purpose is to get Kamala in. Oh, should we play the tribute? Kamala tribute? The whole purpose was to get her in there anyways, because she's openly said, she'll defund police. She'll the funny thing about these people is, she ran in California locking black people up, creating along the Clinton plans. Follow the money. And now she's running on the fact that she'll defund police. She's going to confiscate guns through executive order, and all this different stuff. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. These people, you can't trust them. You can't believe them. They lie. They trick. They are disgusting, horrible.
Are you going to lie if you're a politician?
Sweet dreams. Well, let's see. What do you think about big tech's role in election and their mission of censorship? Oh, it's absolutely horrible. I got censored on Facebook and Twitter all right before the election. How convenient, right? All I did on Twitter was share a website. When that website that had all the Hunter Biden stuff, somebody on Twitter, and I don't even really do Twitter that much, but I click like on the president's, different things like that, but I don't comment really. The one time I make a comment, all I did was someone says, "Where can I find all this Hunter Biden information?" So I punched it in, and boom,
it was.
Boom, deleted immediately. No, they said you're suspended for 3 days. And I'm like,
on Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah. So then on Facebook, I mentioned something about they had the Google CEO. They had the it was on Saturday. So right before the election, I was kicked off 3 days. Couldn't get back on until after the election.
Put you in timeout.
Put me in timeout. And all I said was, well, here, maybe I should say it, I'm going to get kicked off again. They had the Google CEO, they had the Twitter CEO, and they had the Facebook CEO. And all I said was two certain ethnic religion and an alien, and boom, instantly 3-day ban. I'm like, no, I didn't even say nothing bad. You know what I mean? No swearing, no nothing.
Promoting conspiracy theory.
I didn't do any of that. Shane loves Wittgenstein. Come on. Dude, this dude hates you right here.
Perfect.
But, so that's kind of stuff like that. So we got a call. It's our 9 o'clock kickoff almost here in about 2 minutes for the bookie pick of the week. Now, the bookie called in 2-3 weeks ago, and he told everybody to bet Pittsburgh that it would be a blowout against the Browns. And it was a blowout. He was right. Last time we did this, the week I shut the show down, I don't know what he said because I was a train wreck. And I have no idea. So we're going to give him a call in a minute.
The option to not change anything because they're by.
Are they? Well, let's see. How does he suggest? Okay, we got 3 minutes, Chadwick. This one's on you. Or excuse me, Wittgenstein. This one's on you. How does he suggest we do this, Don? Our votes don't count. So in lieu of the Electoral College, do you feel that it's necessary that people votes will count overall in the vote for vote, I guess would be the word. I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
What the Electoral College is trying to resolve is that, as you said, Houston doesn't dictate what happens in South Dakota. Right. That's the theory.
That's the
theory behind it.
Correct.
But it still does.
Okay.
The Electoral College still you still have the same thing because it's not an even amount of, there's 20 electoral votes over here and there's 4 over here. How many electoral votes did Maine have versus? So again, you're still doing it, but it's a very manipulated situation because if you win under popular vote, you should be president, right? No, you should. Because you can win without
let me ask you this,
with electoral, but not with popular. You can be unpopular and still win. How does that work?
Okay, so here's I think part of the issue. So when they usher in 20 million illegal immigrants from all over the world,
they're not voting.
The Middle East, but the Democrats want them to be able to vote. And actually, I believe in California and Arizona as well, we're a state where there's conflict going on right now with the voting. They did allow illegal immigrants to vote. So when you usher in all these illegal immigrants, you give them all these different benefits, housing, job, food, whatever. Now they're going, obviously we all know the old saying goes, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. So when they tell them, we're Democrats, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, they're going to vote for them. So when they usher in 50 million of those people, now it just took away, now you just canceled out South Dakota, Montana, Maine, hell, even probably Ohio at that point. So that's why it's so important for these other states. That's why the Electoral College is so important. Does that make sense?
I'll have to reevaluate it and read it again. But
it
seems to me that there's been some elections in the past that I've been alive for that the Electoral College definitely was swayed.
Anything can be swayed.
So why can't
somebody just called you Shaggy?
Wait till I take my arrow.
I like that one, Shaggy. You got any Snoopy snacks? Oh man, what food convention am I going to next week? Oh, you guys are horrible, but funny though. Shay, where are you at? I wanted you to tell me how you became a conservative Christian, going from a libtard to a conservative Christian. I want to know the answer to that. That interests me. Well, that's what I'm interested in finding out. Okay, it's time to call the book, guys. Let's give the book a call right now here. We do got more text to get to. Oh, see, the phone's not ringing. I don't understand that. Let's give the book a call. Hopefully, okay, guys, I don't know if some of you guys know the book or not, but the book likes to drink, and he goes like crazy and stuff.
Yes, boys and girls, from parts unknown, it's Mr. Biggs.
I agree with Diane.
All right, Mr. Biggs, what's the big bets for this week?
All right, so on Sunday we're gonna take the Baltimore Ravens plus 1 point, and then we're gonna do a special Monday night football pick. We're going to the New England Patriots -7.5. That one 2 picks. But I'm going to bye week.
All right, is there any college picks for tomorrow?
No. Any questions?
Well, no, okay. Tell us those picks again, because it's hard to hear you, because it sounds like, man, you might be drunk or something. I'm not sure. Come on. All right, tell the picks again one more time.
Tim's got a little point here too.
+1, and the New England Patriots -7.5 on Monday night.
All right, guys, there's the big pick for Sunday. So call your books, get your bets in.
You back the trouble with them. But any questions before I go?
Nope.
I have one question.
I'm not a sports guy. Forget about it's not here. And I don't think Wittgenstein's a philosopher and an artist, so I don't think he's into it neither. All right, thanks for the picks, Mr. Biggs. All right, beat it. All right, let's go back to some of these comments here. We got some good comments rolling in. Thank you, Lord. Let's see. Thank God for our founding fathers. We're smarter than people today. very much smarter than people are today, and that's part of the problem. The indoctrination, which is another thing I've often spoke of. I'm almost glad kids aren't allowed in school anymore. I like the homeschooling idea, at least on my end of it, because they're not being freaking as indoctrinated. Walking the halls. I don't know if you guys have kids. You ever been to the schools? It's like a prison out. Well, you can go to stores now. They got arrows and lines where you can and can't walk. It's just like a prison everywhere you go. Go this way, you can't go that way. Go this way, you can't go that way.
That was my opinion at school.
It's a prison. It's a freaking
The
prison.
first thing that happened in my American life was a 12-year sentence.
Absolutely. Exactly.
And you do learn, and there's a lot of education to be gained, but if you learn at a different rate than the other 32 kids in your class,
right,
it's an issue.
And we'll get to these other comments in a second. Good evening. Welcome to Real America Rants and Raves. What's your rant and what's your rave? Oh, come on with the pranks, you sons of butts. When's the next food convention? I don't know. Probably when I leave here, I'll be probably hitting Arby's up and
Where's the meat?
getting myself a few burgers. I don't know. No, listen. I did not call you out. Timko is trying to cause trouble again. You know how he is, dude. Timko, Ricky, he's trying to cause problems like he always does.
Ricky's an angel. He's my brother from another mother.
Holy shit, look at the size of that spider, bro.
Yeah, don't worry about that. He's just
Dude, there's a spider like a black widow crawling over here.
and he's got a nice nest in the lamp. He gets
Oh my God. That thing could have killed me, dude.
What's the odds of this going in Biden's favor? What do you guys think?
He wants to know what the odds are of going in Biden's favor.
I mean, I think that the odds are pretty well laid out. If you look at the TV right now and look at any news stream, they're pretty much. We'll see. I mean, who knows really? I mean, they're saying that he's ahead, but this could be the come from behind win all for Trump, and I figured it all out, and this is right, and now I'm president the second time, but it doesn't look like the way that's being pushed. I would say it's over 90% towards Biden.
Unfortunately,
I just think that's the way it is.
I'm holding my faith, and I'm holding I'm standing my line. I'm standing firm, and I'm hoping through legal battles and just continuously exposing the fraud that Trump pulls it off. But unfortunately, like Wittgenstein just said, the media and everybody else, which has been an enemy against Trump and the people for years anyways, they're really pushing it and convincing people that it's a done deal. And again, that's why I haven't watched the media all week or much of Facebook.
It yet tonight? I haven't really looked.
Harris, and it imposed the stiffest laws possible, like over abundance, like small, like petty crime, like petty marijuana drugs, to the fullest, like they're kingpins. And I'm like, I can't believe that people of color are looking at this chick like, she's for us. She's never been for anybody. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Same thing with Biden with that crime bill back in '93. I mean, come on, man. I don't see what people are not seeing here.
Well, those are the people that think those are the people that think they're awakened, or whatever the word is, awoke. And unfortunately, they're more asleep than Sleepy Joe Biden is, because there's no way, if you have a half a brain, you can support a guy named Sleepy Joe Biden or Kamala, or whatever her name is. It's very disturbing. I personally believe that there's probably 20 to 30 million votes that were fraud. They've been planning this out for a long time. If we go back to Nancy Pelosi a year ago saying, if Trump doesn't accept the results of the vote, we're going to drag him out of there. Well, okay. That's how long ago they started planning this. Now, I will say another thing. Allegedly, and it's going all around the different channels, where supposedly when they created the ballots, the military for some reason was involved. Allegedly, I can't say this is true or not. And they put watermarks on all the ballots, and that's part of how they're determining if they're real ballots or not. Which, if that's the case, then there's a lot of heads going to spin here very soon. But can they expose that? Can they bring that out? I don't know.
I don't know. I just know that when I was
Oh,
watching,
somebody just
whenever
said
it was
it.
sleeping, that Biden was losing and Trump was winning, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, Detroit and all these things supposedly had someone in a Ferrari drop off 100,000 ballots along with a van filled with ballots.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's like, come on, man. I hope, I'm so glad that they had this watermark, because otherwise it would have been sunk. I mean, they're sitting there saying that there was no names on these ballots, but they were just filled in for Biden and upheld. I mean,
Right.
fucking crazy.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I don't think voting should be so difficult. If you all live on a street, you could go to the end of your street and vote at the end of your street. We would know who voted and who didn't. The problem is if we pool it all together, and it just allows for fraud. The bigger the group, it's easier to manipulate.
Well,
Absolutely.
that's how they had all the people, when they're rallying for Obama before he got in office. Those are secret ballots people were filling out. They had no idea. And that's how I'm pretty sure that idiot got in office. Under false pretenses, because people didn't know what they were filling out.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, thanks for the call. We're gonna get to some of these comments. We'll give you a shout back here. Appreciate the call, and hey, get ready. We're gonna start filming for the reality show here very soon.
We'll be putting a post and a link out there.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
We had another Burger King convention.
All right. Later, bro. Okay, so see, I vote for the pro-life candidates, period. I mean, does your conscience not bother you? I mean, what's your opinion on that? That's a very strong and a tough topic, abortion. In a lot of these states, they allow it up to almost birth, and they celebrate it. To me, that's a double sacrifice. And again, I'm not trying to turn it religious because I do that. Well, I haven't done one of those videos in a long time.
Religion right there.
Let's see. Nick says I did it for the kicks. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. Donnie, my man, just the FYI, if old man Biden becomes the president, he'll become our second Catholic president. Is he truly a Catholic? That's my question. Is Biden truly a Catholic? He supports abortion. The Catholic Church does not. The Catholic Church recently, well, there's actually some mixed communication on that where the Pope allegedly supports same-sex marriage and all that stuff. But I think he was saying that we need to accept, gays into the family of God, as it is.
That's been a pretty expensive campaign for the church over there. They've been paying out for a long time for putting people in a position that, I don't know. That whole system over there, that's another one.
It's a whole other debauchery.
That's a whole other debauchery.
So then let's see. Get a new phone. Your phone sucks. Okay, Nadine, stop. Go to bed. Velma, wouldn't think about humping the Shay character. Oh, come on. Let's see. I've been fervently praying, but God's will. You know what? And that's all we can do. Again, going back to my earlier comment about Daniel's 7 years, 3.5 years of peace, 3.5 years of hell before the tribulation, or that is part of the tribulation. So we might, regardless, if Biden gets in there, we can expect hell. Your taxes are going to go up. Your 401k is going to get taxed. Gas prices are going to be through the roof. Food prices are going to be through the roof. And you can expect millions of people to come crossing over our border. The border wall to be torn down. And it's going to be ugly. But we'll see where it goes. Let's see. What do you think about this watermarks in the ballot theory? I think I was mentioning that as you chimed in on that. The ballot watermark thing, it is a theory. It's a conspiracy. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of videos about it. That was part of the plan to catch these people in the act of committing fraud. Now, as we know, the deep state has never been punished or even arrested or even reprimanded, other than by Donald Trump and the media. Is there things going on behind the scenes? Some people say there is. We haven't seen any. So I don't know. I hope it's true. Let's see. Also, our president is being very quiet the last couple of days. That is not like him. He normally be worked up and holding rallies. Well, I think right now you're not going to see any rallies right now. One, the biggest reason is because of all the lawsuits and all the people being involved. I mean, this is a mess. This is a debacle, kind of like this show. the current state of affairs goes right along with this show, a debacle. But I mean, it's ugly, guys. I'm keeping my faith, man. I'm keeping my faith. That's all I can do. Here goes Shaggy. Let's see. No Catholic can be a pro-choice. That's a very good point, and that's what I just mentioned the same thing. I'm Catholic and I'm pro-choice. Oh, interesting. So I would like to hear more about that. How, the Catholic Church is very strong against abortion. Matter of fact, you drive by most Catholic churches and there's signs out there saying, say no to abortion. It's murder, blah, blah, blah. And which I don't mean to say blah, 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 like it's not serious, because it is serious. But
Very serious.
I mean, how, as a Catholic, can you support a Democratic candidate or be pro-choice? I even know that Donald Trump at one point had said that he was for abortion up to a certain amount of weeks, and I believe, I don't quote me on this because I'm no doctor. Maybe Wittgenstein knows, but you don't actually, the fetus doesn't start forming until so many weeks. So if you were to get an abortion, it had to be before a certain amount of weeks. And then that way you're not technically
someone
killing
probably
them.
got better information than I do. It's like 13 weeks or something like that. I don't know.
Something like that.
I honestly don't know. I support. I like kids. I like spending time with them. I like teaching them. They're a little bit of a sponge, and they're a lot of fun to be around. I like teaching them. It's fun. Kids are fantastic. They're the future, really. They're not contaminated with all the issues that we're arguing over. You know what I mean? That they're not. They don't know any different. They just want to learn how to cook.
Somebody texted and says, "Get to the point. What the F happened this week? What happened this week is fraud on a level that we've never seen before. They're laughing in our faces. I mean, Ohio's a perfect example. How does Ohio win? I mean, Ohio just crushed it for Trump. Numerous other states just crushed it for Trump. But then the states that are run by Democratic governors, the states that did all the lockdowns, the states that forced the mandatory mask, all those states are the ones that are in question. None of the other states are. So we all have to stop and look. They're pulling the wool over our eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Next comment is, why are the Republicans not helping this man? I've been following, like I said, I've been staying off of Facebook, but I've been staying away from, I've been staying away from Facebook.
It's toxic.
I've been paying attention.
The truth is, it's toxic for their future.
I've been paying attention to Twitter with Donald Trump, Eric Trump, Bonjoro, and all those different conservative people, Candace Owens and so forth. And they all have the same question. Where are the Republicans? Where is Lindsey Graham? Where is the new people that just won the Senate? Where is the new people that just won the Republican Congress?
They're on a CYA.
Yeah, they're nowhere to be found. They ran on the Trump ticket. They're spineless. They ran on the Trump ticket to get themselves elected. Now Trump needs their help, and they're silent.
And that should tell you something.
That tells you
about
that's
them.
all you need to know.
Yeah, that should tell you a lot about those people in itself. They really don't support them. They're just riding the coattails as long as they can. And as soon as that coat comes off, they're jumping ship. They're Audi 5000.
Right. And then the next comment is, people voted on hate, not love.
I agree.
That's probably the most important statement of all of these comments. Because if you look at, I mean, you're not on social media, but if you look at the comments of people that were anti-Trumpers, they had nothing good to say about Biden or Harris. But what they did have to say is a lot of hate towards Trump or Trump's people. So that's true. The people that voted for Biden voted on hate, not love, even though they claim to be the party of love.
So you think the Trump people voted on love? Or
the love of our country.
They voted on the hate of Biden.
Listen, I don't think nobody
Pelosi and the rest of them.
Nobody will disagree that we all agree Trump To me, he's not, but to a lot of people, the hardcore Christians or what have you, or just the people that are also grim and proper, but at nighttime when you close their shades down, God knows what they're doing, right? The hypocrites, so to speak, they all, we all agree Trump is rough around the edges. Okay, he says what he wants to say, how he wants to say. I do the same thing. Actually, believe it or not, I'm probably a little bit more reserved, but I'm not afraid to. A lot of people are afraid to speak out their opinion. I'm not afraid to get on a video and let 10,000 people see it and tell them to go get effed. I could care less. Come get some is what I look at it. But, we can all agree with that, but we also can all agree that Trump is actually doing the job that we hired him to do. Look at the gas prices. We are the biggest oil producer in the world right now. For years, we've depended on Russia, Saudi Arabia, that shithole down in South America, Venezuela. Now we're the producers of it. The prices are low. Jobs are being created. Biden and Harris have already said they don't want that. They're going to take that from us. That
gas prices aren't going to change because that ship has sailed, man. There's less people on the roads currently now due to the COVID, but it's not going to change. This whole infrastructure that we've been creating for the last 100 years in America is flipping script right now, whether people want to accept it or not. In 2040, the coal plant's not likely going to be operating, and people aren't going to be driving nearly the percentage of gasoline vehicles around, and most stuff's going to be delivered to you. That's what's coming. I mean, if people don't pay attention, there's 20,000 low Earth orbit satellites that'll be up by the end of 2021 due to one man launching them up there with a spaceship so that they can provide internet globally. I mean, if you don't know about that, look it up. I mean, this is the stuff that's really happening. The world is changing at a very rapid pace. It's changing at a pace like it did when the car was invented to the people. It's changing on a level like that, but again, right now, whether you believe in green or this or that or whatever, it's the direction it's going. There's windmills going up. They're not tearing them down. They're putting them back up. You know what I mean? They're putting more and more and more and more up. And so gas prices are going to stay down because the demand's low. You're just not going to have the demand. I mean, China may demand it. You know what I mean? India may demand it because they're still getting people to come in and buy cars, but we've already sold most of the cars. We just replaced what we already own. I mean, how many people really go out and buy their first new car in America? It's a pretty low population, really, out of our whole total capita. But in India and China and some other developing countries, as we'd like to say, where we've got capitalism in there and they're all trying to earn their buck, they need that oil. They need that. So right now we can be more of a distributor of it than we need. We can stockpile it, make sure we have what we want for the cost that we have, but we don't need it. We're moving in a different direction. I mean, if you haven't paid attention, I mean, almost every brand of vehicle manufacturer has an electric car on the market this year that they're touting as great, whether it's the Mustang or whatever it is. Minivan. I just saw a minivan. They plug it in, charge it up in 2 hours, goes 500 miles or something, some crazy thing. That's the direction it's going. So the demand for coal and oil and stuff like that, it's Audi 5000. It's not that we're getting rid of it, but it's just not going to be needed to operate our infrastructure as it has currently been dependent upon.
The world according to Wittgenstein. All right, I like it. All right, so going back to this abortion comment, one of God's commandments is thou shalt not kill, therefore thou cannot be a Catholic and a pro-choice. Okay. Rebuttal comments. Until Jesus himself comes down in front of me and tells me abortion is wrong, I believe a woman has a choice. I don't believe in using it as birth control, but I do believe it should be an option. Okay, abortion is a procedure created by man to snuff out the lives of innocents that did not ask to be created. Each one of those lives has a soul speaking as a former fetus. This is very true as well. Jesus Christ said himself that I knew you before you formed in the womb, meaning that you're spirits, that you come down to earth for a temporal visit. And that's what they mean when they tell you your body is your temple. Your temple is what you temporarily inhabit. Just like a temple structure, you only can temporarily inhabit it until your body dies. But then you return to your source, depending who you are. Let's see. Oh boy, he's
Perfect.
here. We go. He's telling me how we are going to live. Yankee.
You can either be, I mean, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, go out and figure it out. But it's just being able to extrapolate from the situation that we're in right here and understand that 15 years from now, it's not going to be like today, and it's not going to be like it was in 1980 or 1960, unless we blow up our country and have to start over. And that's unlikely that we're going to allow that to occur. I mean, even as much as we argue.
Well, you know, guys, I want to tell you, I want to break into something else too, real quick. And Kelly, I agree with you. It's going to be a shit show for sure if Biden does become president. I don't know if any of you guys ever followed Irvin Baxter. Irvin Baxter just passed away. He was 75 years old. Very, very intelligent man. What the heck's the name of his website? I get his magazine. I think it's quarterly or every 2 months, something like that. Six issues a year. Very, very religious, stout man. Spoke of prophecies and things to come in the Book of Revelations. So check him out. Irvin Baxter just passed away. So prayers out to Mr. Baxter. Hopefully he made it to heaven as long as he wasn't deceiving us. If he was deceiving us, then hell shall be his home. See, somebody wants to know your views on immigration. What's your views, Mr. Wittgenstein, on immigration? They're putting you on the spot. And we're dropping. Why are we losing people here?
Oh, I don't know. They probably have to get up and get up here.
Oh, wait. All right. While you talk about your views on immigration, I want to read what Ms. Shea has to say here, and I'll formulate.
I mean, immigration is the bottom line is, if we really want to solve the immigration issue, we would line the borders with hotels with 50 caliber machine guns that I can pay $5,000 a month to go down there and fire at anybody that runs across the border. But that's not the way that we approach as Americans. We let this thing occur where we allow people to come in. I mean, we're surrounded by water, basically on almost three sides. And how are you going to patrol that whole entire thing? So if people want to come here, you should have some control measure of how many come here and why they come here. But we as Americans are super fortunate to never have had to have our country blown up either. You know, when you go to some of the other countries that we've invested an enormous amount of tax dollars in blowing up, where the hell do those people go? Because they're not living like we do. No wonder they want to come here. So what do you do with that? And there is a major amount of people that eat a bunch of food that's picked by immigrants because they don't want to go out and pick it. I mean, you got to be honest with yourself sometime. For real. You really got to be honest. If you eat a head of lettuce, did you grow it? Or where did it come from? And who picked it? Because you don't want to work for $8 an hour. Someone did, and you want to buy that lettuce cheap. And those are things that we have to figure out as a country before you can resolve the total immigration issue, because immigrants are brought in here to serve jobs that most Americans won't do.
You really believe that?
Go to Arizona, go to California, go out there and look at the fields and see who's picking it, because it certainly isn't you.
Don't you think that
it's not you?
Don't you think that the government has made it that much more difficult for, like, a couple of my kids want to get jobs? They have to get permits. They have to get permission. I had to sign.
You got to get a social security number. What the hell is that?
No, social security numbers are issued at the time of birth, but
only if you do it in a hospital, not if you have a midwife.
You're going to get into something more complicated than I think most people can understand.
I believe it. I'll stop.
But, so what's happening? Kids want to work. Those kids could be in those fields doing that stuff, making, the minimum wage, $8 to $9 an hour, $10 an hour.
So are you going to give them time off from school to pick it? Because we have school in session when that stuff needs to be harvested.
Absolutely.
So
there's
time off from school.
There's
we
work
got away
programs.
from that. That was called child labor, and we got away from that.
No, they created child labor so they could usher in these immigrants. Children picked cotton in farms and things for centuries. No, they didn't have all these schools in this way.
I totally
Schools are nothing more than an educational indoctrination camp. Going back to my earlier comment, when I clearly state it's an ideology where I clearly, if you go to a school now, or a store for that matter, You have to follow these steps. You stand here. It's like going to boot camp. You get off the bus and you stand on these footprints. Well, when you go to boot camp, you sign up to do that. We didn't sign up for this in life, where we have to jump on these steps and do this and do this and do that and do this and do that.
But most people
that is the
subscribe to
communism. That is the control. We are being controlled by very weak-minded individuals, very nasty. And you know what? Half of them probably are freaking reptilians. Okay?
Most people choose to be controlled by what they're getting for feedback on their phone. At some point in my life, phones were on a wall in your kitchen, and you had to run home or drive real fast to get to the phone. And now everyone's walking around. They need a map in a store because they can't even pay attention to what they're doing. I mean, has anyone driven on the highways recently? I mean,
it's dangerous.
People aren't even looking at the roads at all. They're all looking at their phone trying to figure out what they're doing. I mean, slow down, people. Honest to God, like,
it's very
take a breath. And that's why I went biking today. I did 20 miles. I wasn't on my phone while I was biking. I can tell you that. I was bending the trees.
Here's some breaking news. The Pennsylvania state legislature has confirmed they will audit the ballots and recount the legitimate ballots. That's big news because earlier today they were saying Trump was pretty much losing Pennsylvania. So that's huge.
Trump lost the thing that the lawsuit that they put forth in Georgia, but I don't know what's going on in Nevada. I think that's the state that's going to decide it based on some of the polls that I saw earlier.
Well, Trump just tweeted also, we need an explanation as to how these numbers have been running up the last 2 or 3 days. We do.
They've been counting ballots, haven't they? I mean, isn't that how that works? Not every state operates on the same turn-in time, and they have an allotted amount of time to turn in their vote.
Okay. Shay, I'm going to get to your comments too. He was talking, and I jumped on a couple other things, and we'll get to you two here in a second. I apologize. Mark Dice, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mark Dice. Mark Dice is, I think he kind of started off as a comedian, but he's turned into a Republican, a watchdog, kind of he writes a lot of books. He's very intelligent, very funny as well. But are any of you guys familiar with the Lincoln Project? Have you ever heard of the Lincoln Project? It's a bunch of attorneys. Yeah, I'm going to touch face on that here in a second. And
That's an interesting.
The Lincoln Project is all these lawyers and all these supposedly educated folks, and they hate Trump. They're never Trumpers. And now they're at odds with the Democrats because they think that they should be funding them tens of millions of dollars to African-American people. The world's gone nuts. That's all I'm going to say. The world has gone nuts. Here's one from Tom Fitton. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's the watchdog. He's the one that goes after all of them. He's out of D.C., the Judicial Watch. These guys are badass. I mean, they sue over everything. They sue the FBI, CIA. They don't care. I don't know where they get all their money from. I guess maybe merchandise or whatever. But Tom Fitton, he's actually a built, buffed up guy too. Very, very intelligent. I really like him. Jay Sekulow is saying that manual recounts may be required in 30 states. And this is another important thing. Recounts in 30 states because of report of computer program glitching. Now, in Michigan, they've already said that the computer switched thousands of votes from Biden or from Trump to Biden. That's why this is going to end up being solved in the courts, like my friend texted me earlier and said. Because of the computer whole thing. And who made the computers? George Soros, Democratic Party. They're all in line with it. Okay, so I mean, it's crazy what's going on. It's absolutely insane. Okay, so that's stupid stuff. Shay, give me one more minute here. I'm going to kick back over here real quick. Let's see. Go PA MAGA. Yes, I agree. I'm surprised you have 7 views. Whatever. Hey, 7 views is, whatever. Trump wants Shaggy gone. You can pay prisoners $1 an hour to pick your veggies. You know what? And that's a good system. That's a good point, too.
I don't disagree with that.
Why can't we use the prison system to benefit our country?
It too much profit and it costs too much money.
If you put these people to work, they wouldn't go to prison in the first freaking place. People that end up in prison are what? Drug addicts. Okay, drug addicts. It's I have a little bit of liberal side to me when it comes to that because they have an addiction, they have a problem. But if they're committing serious crimes and they don't get the help that they need prior to, then they murder somebody or rape somebody or do whatever, then they should be probably in prison. But there's still people that out there that actually need the legitimate help, and I'm all for that. But the hardcore prisoners, why not put them on the chain gangs? Why not put them to work in the fields? Why not put them to work on the streets? There's no reason we can't do that. And I'll tell you what, when would-be criminals go by and say, wait a second, I gotta go out there and field that field all day long for 8 hours? Oh, hell no. I'm gonna stay. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna get a job so I can go home and watch TV or whatever. I mean, I agree with you, Tim, 100%. So let's go back to okay, guys. By the way, hit those thumbs up. Come on, give us a little bit of love here. We got the new sound in. We're up vertical this week. We're not horizontal like we were last week. Big Papa Love's not going totally berserko, and Wittgenstein, he's trying to break into the business here, and he's doing great. I know some of you don't like him, and I know some of you have difference of opinions, but that's okay. That's what kind of makes us all think and understand other people. But Wittgenstein's on the same page as we are, to be honest with you. Just a little bit of a different approach, which I can't disagree with him on some of his things, other than Littoral College. I mean, that was kind of retarded, but he doesn't know about it, I guess. Just kidding, Wittgenstein. But hit those thumbs up, guys. So let's go back to Shay. Shay's a friend of mine in Colorado. Shay's really awesome. She got off social media because she just couldn't take the nonsense like most of us can't. So she just kind of jumped ship from all that and said, falling into the addiction like the rest of us, staring at Facebook, like as Wittgenstein said earlier, day in and day out. What's going on today? Oh my gosh, So Shay mentioned earlier that she mentioned a lot here, but basically right now she possibly has cancer, and she is she's basically being denied care. They're telling her they can't help her till mid 2021. Cancer can spread so quickly and that can really kill you. So, and it's all because of COVID. Some sad, ugly times we're living in. I mean, Shay, my prayers are out to you. All you praying friends out there, give some prayers up to Shay. She's in a lot of pain, and she's having a hard time, with her health. So please keep her in your prayers. Okay, and she also mentions that, and I did see this earlier. I believe it was from Don Jr. or Eric Trump. Did you guys see there are supposed to be huge Trump rallies in every state capital tomorrow? This could get ugly. Yeah,
That sounds about right.
It does sound about right, but I don't know if I can't remember what I talk about from week to week, but it depends how much boozy we have. But I'm going to take you guys back to the book that Trump wrote, or excuse me, that was written about Baron Trump in the late 1800s. And this goes back to the whole time traveling thing. It talked about a Trump becoming president, a Baron being the son of the president, and it talks about the riots and all the chaos that takes place during the presidency. It's just very interesting stuff. This is all true stuff too. I've studied about time travel. I have probably $500 worth of books. I read a lot. I haven't been recently. I haven't had time to, but there's a lot to this stuff. And I know you guys might think I'm crazy and kooky, but I'm telling you, we might all be being duped at every level at this point. I just don't know. But from the actions of Trump, he's definitely, in my opinion, doing what's right for the American people in our country. So let me see. Nobody gives a crap about my cancer. You know what, Shay? No, we care about your cancer. And the greatest gift that you have is your faith in your belief in Jesus Christ and God. You can be healed. There's natural remedies out there as well. And I'm not pushing in that. I'm no doctor. But I do I do believe if you keep your faith strong, you'll be fine. Yes, Judicial Watch. That's what it's called. Judicial Watch is awesome. If you guys aren't familiar with Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton, I'm telling you right now, sign it. They're not. I don't know if they're on Facebook or not, but I follow them on Twitter and I get the feeds from them every day. These guys are legitimate badasses. I mean, they go after every single one of them. So again, prayers out to you, Shay. We love you, honey. Let's see. Anybody else got anything else? We got 20 minutes left before we shut it down. 216-333-9593. Give me a text or a call. I'm sure you guys want to know more about Wittgenstein. I know
Someone wanted to know when the cane's going to come out and get me by the neck and yank me out of the chair.
is that what they said?
I saw a couple comments on here.
Really?
This guy loves me.
I know. I mean, he hates
Big
you.
fan.
He's a big fan of the Wittgenstein. Wittgenstein's cool, guys. He really is.
Fan. Hard to paint a picture.
But come on, give us something here. What's your thought? I mean, there's a lot going on. I can't believe you guys were this quiet.
I think it's a voting shock.
I went through this whole week. I've been staying off of Facebook. Very little have I said. I made one comment the other day, and I left it at that. So I get it. We're all in a position right now where we don't know what way our country's going to go. Are we going to go towards more freedom, less taxes,
Unlikely if we riot.
smaller government, or are we going to go to more taxes, less pay, more restrictions?
Less pay, man. A
You know what I mean?
2x4 is $6.66 right now. What the hell happened there? I mean, right now, if you make $30 an hour, you can only afford 4 2x4s an hour. That's unbelievable to me. That's unbelievable. A sheet OSB is $22 right now. I don't understand, and I'm never going to understand that. I'm never going to understand it because they're just creating a lack of supply, which forces a demand, which allows people to capitalize on it. Because I don't get it. I mean, if anybody's going to try to build anything,
I agree with you on that. And COVID screwed that up. COVID, they knew it was going to do this.
Capitalists are riding a COVID wave for sure, and they're maximizing profit right now. For
certain
sure.
companies are.
Their profit margins are very good.
Yeah, yes, they are. The business that I'm in,
when they fail, we'll bail them out, right?
The business I'm in is, they've never had a better year.
I believe it. It's a banner year.
It's been insane, and there's
Keep
other
everyone
places
at home,
that
no expenses, no big deal.
They're starving. Other companies people are starving. You know what I mean? They're not
I'm
working.
just saying that.
No, and I get it.
What's a fair wage?
Well, fair wage is determined by the fair amount of work you put in to the position.
Most of the people that make most of the money do not put work in.
Well, no, because let's see. I don't want to say that the wrong way. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to let you. Yeah, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you talk on that.
I'm just saying. It's a tough position because what are you rooted in? Are you rooted in? Someone said that the vote was done on hate, not love, and you obviously can't give all the money away because then who earned it, whatnot. But at the same point, people have got to be honest because if you're always trying to outdo your neighbor, it's kind of a foolish system. You want $50 an hour, but you only want your neighbor to make 40. That's kind of goofy.
Oh, listen to this one. This one just came in. This is one of the QAnon things. It was a tweet by Greg Abbott's. Election fraud is real. In Texas, they investigated and prosecuted a Limestone County social worker was charged with 134 felony counts involving election fraud. All states must take election fraud seriously to ensure confidence in elections. And I think that's the biggest part. I think that's the biggest problem. The fact that we've already lost our confidence in our Congress. Our Senate is not much further behind. We've pretty much lost hope in our government. And now we're living through this debacle. And I mean, at what point we're all just going to say, and this is how we're going to lose. This is how we're going to lose as a people, because we're all going to say, you know what, it doesn't matter. They're going to do what they want to do anyways. And then in 5 to 10 years, we're going to be chipped, told what to do, how to do it, when to do it. They'll supply us with universal income, and they'll tell us what we can and can't do. It's insanity. None of us should be sitting down, laying here idly. We all need to let our voices be heard. And you know what? It's come to the point where we're going to have to actually take action. That's what it's really coming down to. We are going to have to take action.
So action means what? Term limits? You force it on people?
Well, how
do you talk about action? Riot in the streets?
When I say
that doesn't fix it.
When I say action, I say that we hang all the traitors. I say that we look at every single congressperson, every single senator, and I'm talking at the state levels too. We go through their records, and if they violated the oath of office, if they violated the Constitution, the Bill of Rights at any point in their career, depending on the severity of it, number one, they are either hanged in the streets as a lesson to the rest of the people, or they're put in prison for the rest of their lives, or they're sent off to some other country like they did back in the old days.
You got a backup position because that's a pretty tough one.
Okay, here's a good comment. Well, here's two. Prayers, old man Biden legalizes weed and hookers. I think they're legalizing weed everywhere.
The only states that aren't legalizing it got their head in their wazoo for profit.
Hey, Wittgenstein's not afraid of a little bit of green stuff. Let's see. Now, this is a good comment because I don't know why wood's so expensive, but I have a friend that's in a roofing business, and he told me the same thing. OSB is through the roof. He's like, it's so expensive, it's ridiculous.
The cost to build a house right now is double, if no one knows that. So hold on to what you got.
I mean, I knew it was up, but I didn't know it was like that bad. Wood is expensive because the majority of lumber comes from Canada. Canadian workforce is way more precautious than our carefree United States. So I guess basically that means that because of COVID, they've kind of shut things down. Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to talk about this kid I met from Alaska last night. Let's see. Where are we at over here? All right, Shay, good night. And we love you too. And prayers to you and your family and through these troubling times, honey. Thank you. So I met this kid last night. I was on Pool League. And, anytime I see a stranger that I don't know anywhere, I want to know who they are, especially if it's a place they hang out at. And well, the kids happen to be sitting next to me, so my first thought, and some people out there will understand this, some may or may not, but my first thought to this kid was, I looked at him next to him, I said, who you working for, buddy? Young, clean cut, nice looking guy. You can tell he's like 35. And, of course he's like, a big, hairy, freaking beast like Big Papa Love over here. People get a little bit nervous.
Do you have a wig on?
No, the wig's coming. The wig is on order. Fortunately, the freaking microphones and all this equipment sent me back $1,000 this week. But anyway, so this kid, I start talking to him, and I'm asking questions, and blah blah blah. He's asking questions back. Here, this kid is from Alaska. Okay, I did shake him down. Yes, I did. The kid's from Alaska, or the guy's from Alaska, and he's on his way to Washington, D.C. He's going to be a lobbyist, right? And I'm like, lobbyist? Is that like real stuff? You don't hear about it, but I don't know nothing about it. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to be a lobbyist. And so, of course, I started asking more questions. And he's like, Don, I'm going to be honest with you. He's like, I'm what you people here in Ohio would call privileged. He's like, I come from a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And he also sells baseball cards or sporting cards like LeBron James or whatever, the baseball cards. That's what I call them anyway. Basketball cards, football cards. And he does that on the side. Well, anyways, so he drove from his hometown in Alaska, and you got to go through Canada to get to the United States. So when he got to Canada, they wouldn't allow him in to cross over. Now, before he even went, he had pre-authorization. I don't know. I didn't get too much into that with him, but I didn't think he needed a letter saying he didn't have COVID or something like that from like a doctor or whatever.
You could have a darn good reason to get anywhere. You can't even get to New York right now.
Well,
you go there for one day. It takes 29 days to go there. 14 there. Then you get to have you one day, and then you get 14 on the way back, and you get to come home. It's ridiculousness.
Well, so where he lives at to where the border is he says an 8-hour drive. So he drove all the way back home. When he got back home, he got on a barge. He said he went around it and came into Oregon or Washington or somewhere. And he said it took 8 days for the barge to get in there. I go, well, that sounds like it'd be kind of fun, you know? It'd be kind of cool to be on a barge for, you know, a week, just sailing along the
outside the Barents Sea there.
Just outside the Barents Sea. And he said, no, it was absolutely the most horrible experience he's ever had. And, well, anyway, so he's been driving for the last 3 days to Washington, D.C. Well, he stopped in Chicago last night, which is only 5.5 hour drive to Cleveland. So then he drove up to Cleveland and stayed again. Well, his sister is an ambassador, and her husband is an ambassador, or they were, to the United States of America. He was in.
And now you know why he's going to be a lobbyist. Now you really get the big
yes,
picture.
well, that's why I'm going somewhere with it.
They're looking for some funding to support what they do. And the best people, they don't care what they support. They just pay. Well, they don't really care what they support most of the time.
So this guy's a school teacher by trade and a wrestling coach. Mm-hmm. So he said his sister and his brother-in-law live here in Brecksville, and they were both ambassadors. Now their tour was over, or duty was over. He's some kind of super big time accountant, and she's just a stay-at-home mom. Well, that sounds fun. But so I asked him, I said, okay, dude, I said, I don't want to get all in your personal business, but I'll probably never see you again. What kind of lobbyist are you going to be, and what kind of money does that pay?
That's the question I want to know.
Right. He goes, I'm going to be a lobbyist for education, pushing education through the government. Basically what we're talking about, being more control, education being more in control.
He comes from a state that's pretty prominent up there. I mean, we're still trying to get the rest of the land from the Eskimos. We haven't got it all yet. We're still trying to get that. So he's probably headed down there to capitalize on some land grabs.
Well, so I continue to ask him. He's going to be making almost $300,000 a year to be a lobbyist. I said, okay. I go, well, that's pretty good money. So what are you going to do? I go, what do you do exactly? He says, well, tomorrow I'm going to New York. They're going to give me a day or two training, right? He said, my job is only to go sit in Congress and talk with the aides of the Congress people and get dinners and stuff set up. He goes, basically, my job is to take people out, buy them dinner, buy them drinks. He goes, and get meetings set up for the higher ups from the educational people to go in and have meetings with the Congress people.
Networking. A meeting about a meeting.
A meeting about a freaking meeting.
Yeah, I'm not good at those.
Dude, $300,000 a year to do that. That's insane. I didn't become a lobbyist.
I could probably become one of those. What do you want me to lobby for?
Well, I'm going to start looking into it. I'm like, man, lobbying.
I think you got to have. You might need some ties to get into that business.
Oh, here's some breaking news too. The asteroid, the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza, is set to pass Earth tomorrow.
Fantastic, clear skies.
We're going to freaking get bombed by the asteroids. Let's see. Okay, so I mean, I just thought that was really interesting. He was a really cool guy. He just said he sold a LeBron James card for $14,000 to some rich dude. He goes, "That's my side gig." He goes, "I sell sports cards."
Well, $200,000, you can sell sports cards, and
couple
3 sports, and you can get a Tesla.
Yeah, my kids want me to get a Tesla, but it's not in the budget. All right, so let's see. I actually piloted a barge boat on the Ohio River. That sounds like it'd be pretty fun. Barge boats are freaking cool. Was he Sarah Palin's love child? I don't know if he was her love child, but I'll tell you what, he I got all in his face because I'm one of those type of guys that if I don't know who you are, I want to know who you are. And I had him going through his phone, showing me his family pictures. I said, those could be fake though, bro. I know how you people work. You're not as dumb as you think,
I'm not as dumb as you think. That
He said, "Are you sure they didn't work in Ambassador Bowling Alley?" Oh, Shane says good night to Shaggy Too Dope. Ambassador Bowling Alley. You know, I can tell you guys a story about that. One time we take my dad out. One time. Next thing you know, there's 30 cops and big brawl breaking out. Those were the good days, man. But they didn't shoot. You know what? They didn't shoot you back then. Now they shoot you, you know. So everybody's saying good night, man. So I don't know. What do we got? We got 7 minutes left.
and close it out with something.
Well, you know what? Because we're on Facebook, we can't play any music. Here, somebody just texted the same thing I just said. The GOP is not on our side. Trump is our only fighter. That's true. Where are they?
They are CYA, and they're protecting what they got.
AOC is encouraging domestic terrorism by calling for list of her political enemies. AOC is just bad news, man. I don't know what that one is. No more COVID, I guess. Yeah, is COVID over? Actually, somebody texted me earlier.
COVID is not going to be over. There's too much money through the insurance companies, and that's the point that Shay was making. Is now if you go to a hospital, what some family members that I've seen, they get sick, and a year ago, well, over a year ago, year and a half ago, they would leave them in the hospital for 3 weeks and suck the insurance scam dry, and now they're like, yeah,
Right.
you seem all right, and they're booting you out the door the same day because they're keeping those beds open, and there must be some stimulus that I don't understand that they're getting through that by keeping those beds available. I don't know the financial around that, but I'm assuming there must be, because why wouldn't they keep that client in there that they've always kept under these conditions in the past, and they're getting paid through the insurance, so they got to be getting paid another way.
Well, they get the
Empty
flat
beds are paying
rates.
somehow.
Well, I want to say something, and let's go back to Irvin Baxter. So on Monday, they put out a press release saying that, well, last week they said he was in the hospital with COVID. He wasn't feeling too well. They put him in the hospital. 4 days later, they put him on ventilators, and they pump that crap down into your lungs. Now, I have a friend who's a nurse, and this goes back to when she was talking about it at the beginning of COVID, how they were actually killing people by putting this crap down the ventilators in their lungs. She goes, it's actually killing them. It's not helping them. She goes, but they're getting all this money, for every COVID case and blah, 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 plus the insurance, blah, blah, blah. So as I read through the Irvin Baxter's timeline and followed along with it, because I get emailed alerts and stuff, it sounds to me like they freaking killed the guy, to be honest with you. I mean, because they said he just didn't feel that well, just like Trump did. And you can see that the night before Trump went into the hospital at that debate, he didn't look very good.
He looked like he'd been drinking, and I don't think he drinks.
And he doesn't. So, I don't know. It's just a lot of crazy stuff. But anyways, so here's another comment. The jobs Americans won't do argument is retarded. What about the millions of homeless Americans? Why not put them to work? Why not build freaking
Most of the time,
Section 8 housing
most of the time,
or buildings, apartments?
they don't know about the job offer. The people that need the job done aren't going down on Slum Road
Or-
to find the homeless,
well-
to find someone to work.
There's a problem with the homeless.
If you got tied up in some situation in your life and you've got a couple of dings on your mark, like, some people do and some people don't. Some people pay a lot of money to make sure they don't have dings, and some people are pretty honest about the position that they're in life. But you are refused the option to do a lot of things in this country also. So there are positions that could be filled by qualified people, but they won't hire them. And that's another thing. So what do you do? So they hire illegal immigrants. I mean, I was just out in Colorado last year, and plainly that the people that are cutting the grass and building the houses do not have citizenship. But the people that want the houses built, that want the grass cut, are paying for it. So it's a double standard.
Their own selfishness
It's a
is
double
our
standard.
demise to our
watched it.
country.
I was like, are you kidding me? And they are definitely Trump supporters. They are absolutely voting Trump. And I'll tell you that 100%, hands down. Yeah, they are absolutely looking for the cheap lawnmower dude.
I'm going to help
cheap housing builder.
I'm going to help you out with this
It was
argument.
crazy.
I'm going to help you out with your argument.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, I don't necessarily disagree to a certain extent. I mean, to a certain extent. But here's what I say. The problem with the homeless is that it goes back to my comment earlier about drug addicts or alcoholics or what have you. And everybody knows I'm a drinker, whatever. I even did videos on AA and stuff like that. But, you know, the homeless people, most of them have either a mental problem, which the mental health problem is a serious crisis in our country, and they have an addiction problem. So, you know, but if we gave them the opportunity, gave them housing, gave them counseling, and put them to work to keep them busy, because a lot of people with addiction problems, their minds just, they can't control their mind. And again, I don't want to make it religious, but going back to Jesus Christ, we are not our minds. We're a temporary spirit dwelling in the body. The mind is just a tool to function the body, just like an engine is for a car. You know, but we have a serious mental health problem in our country, and it really comes down to some sort of abuse. If it's a drug related, and that could be alcohol or whatever, drug related problem, or if it comes to a mental problem where you know, throughout their lives or throughout relationships or what have you, you know. But then there's that whole religious side of it. I'm not going to touch that because that's where I always tend to go, because that's the source of the problems. That's the true source of the problems, is the darkness. And
every time you breathe, you have the choice to do something good or bad. That's the truth. So the more times
people that have a mental
something good, you move forward in that direction. But some people are purposely held back, held down, so that someone else can move forward. And that is human nature. It occurs. We're watching it right now.
That.
Trump may be getting handed his held back, and because someone else is moving forward. I mean, we're watching it on a national election, but it happens to people at Burger King trying to get hired for the job. It happens at the grocery store. It happens in real life all the time. There's a lack of people. I mean, it all goes to it. People getting paid for unemployment's another thing that one pisses me right to the top of the moon. I do not believe in that system at all. I
mean, we pay into that system, so when we do fall on the hard times, you know, we have the opportunity to be able to eat and pay our bills while we temporarily look for a position.
Unemployed,
especially during the COVID
currently
situation.
Collecting benefits, unemployed, want to work with someone that will pay them cash under the table. All of them. That's fucked. That's messed up. Period. It is messed up. And you know what? It's your cousin, your brother, your dad, your sister, your somebody. You know them all. We just blanketly be like, it's okay. And that is what really undermines a system. Completely. It undermines it. 100%.
And there you have it. Words of wisdom from the Wittgenstein.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
We shall see. So it's 10:01, ladies and gentlemen.
Cheers.
And you know what? Because we can't play music, somebody texted in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think that's a good way for us to end it, or at least I'll end it that way. There's Shaggy.
I would probably have to
get those thumbs up.
I may need the karaoke version of this, but I got it.
Thumbs up. How do I do this? Thumbs up. And hopefully next week we'll have the camera set up. We'll have a good wide view, and hopefully Forget About It will show up. He hasn't even called me back or texted me, so God only knows what he's doing tonight. He was on his way here, supposedly. That's not a good sign. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed something. I hope you learned something and or opened your minds to something different than what you're normally used to, or all the negativity with the feed. You know, I've been staying off Facebook. So if I'm friends with you on Facebook and I haven't been liking your stuff, I've just been staying off, other than my 3-day suspension, because I pop on there for a few minutes and that's about it, man.
I'm really laughing at the comment that just came in. That was fantastic.
Shaggy, too dope. Shaggy's good people. Let's see. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with a liberty and justice for all. And Kelly, we love you too. And Nadine, go to bed. Shaggy, too dope. Shane, good night. Oh, hold on. What are your thoughts on Amish building houses? They don't pay taxes either. That's not actually true.
That is not true. And
this
is a fictitious thing, and I'll say this real quick. Amish do pay taxes. They're just a little bit more creative about the way that they choose to do it. So if we, as a group of people, want to operate like they do, you create an establishment, a 501c, a charitable church, or however you want to do it, and you donate your income into that, and then that place writes off purchasing in bulk things that you all use. That's why they all dress the same. That's why they all wear the same boots within some reason. Within some reason, they use all the same stuff because they purchase it and it is a gift from the church. And that's how they skirt the tax law. And that's really how they skirt it more than anything. That's the real commercial skirting of the tax thing, because they don't need to earn as much because they don't have to pay taxes, because they just give their check directly to the church, and then the church buys what they need for tools or whatever are under that format. I mean, that's not the only way they do it, but that is one way that it is done. And we as Americans, one person, individual, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to figure it out. We do not subscribe to that. I mean, every person should be an entrepreneur. You should have 3 or 4 businesses. If Trump has taught you anything, you should have 3 or 4 businesses, and you should be buying from one business to sell to the other one, and you never pay taxes. I mean, that's right out of his playbook, for real. Look it up. I mean, that's reality. But most of us have a W-2, and we just blindly pay taxes into a system, and that's lazy on some level, but it's a guarantee, which gives you some unemployment benefits.
How can you argue with that?
Some
The wicked words of Wittgenstein. I like it.
The Amish.
He's on our page. I know some of you guys aren't caring for him much, but he's a really smart guy. He knows what he's talking about. And I can't disagree with most of that. I mean, I will disagree when I can, but I can't.
Kelly is piping in, and she's saying that, the Amish do contribute to the economy. They really do. I mean, I don't know how many people live near Amish communities, but I've lived in a few states where the Amish are moving to. They're moving out of Pennsylvania and out of Ohio and some of these states, and they're moving to some other states, and I've seen where they are. And, they take care of the land. I can't say that I see that in many areas of the country. And you could look around some of the places that I reside, and it looks like, it looks like an American Pickers event around here.
And a big shout out to Underwear. Forget about it. But they don't pay tax. They were just complaining how illegal aliens build houses, don't pay taxes.
Amish do pay taxes.
Yeah, Amish do pay taxes.
Yeah.
I when I was in construction, we had a lot of Amish crews that built the homes. I was construction superintendent.
I mean, most of us. I mean, like anything, you can hire someone to the table, but most of those guys are participating in the system. They just, once they get that money, they donate something else, which becomes a write-off, and that's how they're slipping around that system. They keep all the money in their neighborhood, basically.
And there you have it. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. God bless everybody. Let's just all pray that our country goes in the right direction. Fortunately, I think we're heading for some very difficult times, regardless of the current situation. And forget about it, Louis. I will track his ass down tomorrow. I know what his problem is. And, until the next time, guys, God bless you. God bless America. And hit those thumbs up. Come on. You got to give a little bit of love to Big Papa Love and the Wittgenstein. So, love you.
Out 10-4.
Love you all, and good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thumbs up, guys. Come on now.